I'm going to press record on our call. Sorry, we're starting a few minutes late. Of course, like first team call in a few weeks, and it's like the first night that Brian's like not home, and I had to put all three kids to bed by myself. So, and Josie was like super fussy for the past hour and a half. So I just left my kitchen. I was like, I have to at least put the food away so it's not like sitting out for 3 hours from dinner earlier. But so I apologize for being a little bit late, but we're here and we made it. So if you're like me and you're like jumping on, like just walked out of your kid's room and you're jumping on and it's craziness. I feel like it's like pulling in a church when you're like on one wheel and you're like, just get there. And you're yelling at your kids all before you go to church. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing really well. I'm so excited for our call tonight. Before we kind of dive into things, I just wanted to quickly talk about just some updates and June, which is like crazy that it's just around the corner. I know so many of you guys are working really, really hard to lock in Success Club this week. So that way you don't have to worry about it with the long weekends, since we have Memorial Day on Monday and then basically Tuesday, and then it's the end of the month. So use this week, grind it out, jump on it late if you need to, like follow up with people. There is so much power in following up. Brian works in sales, and I'm literally every day I'm like, well, did you call him? Did you text him? Did you check in with him? And he's like, no, I'm going to. And I'm like, well, you need to check in with them because, like they probably just didn't see your email. I know that's where I usually am, is I'm the person who's like, oh crap, I thought I texted him back and I didn't, especially these days. So a lot of times the people that need this the most already feel overwhelmed with life. And so they need you to follow up with them and be like, hey, remember that commitment you wanted to make, or remember that thing you talked about doing. I know it feels really hard, but I want to help make it really easy for you. So do not be afraid of following up this week. Lock it in, get to Success Club. I know even for some of you, I've heard people say, well, I just, I want to focus on helping people, but Success Club just seems kind of silly. I get that, but here's the deal. Those small little benchmarks and goals are going to help you so much, because the people who are the most committed are the people who go all in. They go in with the program, they go in with the nutrition, they want you as their coach for the long haul, and they're probably going to be the most committed people. You can ask any single person on this call that's a coach who's been here for a while. Our committed challengers are 99% of the time the people who go all in with a total solution pack. So don't give up on that. Success Club is just a fun little thing that Beachbody put together. Okay. Success Club is just a fun little benchmark that Beachbody put together in order for us to just help more people, really. And so let's all push together, hop on the action hours. We've got 2 action hours. Sam's action hours, actually, I have no idea why it said Sunday on there, but it's actually on Friday. Probably just like a little date mess up. But it's actually on Friday. So we've got 2 this week for you to hop on. Again, like success leaves clues. I say that all the time. This business, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like, please do not reinvent the wheel. I tried to do that for the first 3 years and I literally got nowhere. And then when I started realizing that I didn't have to reinvent the wheel, that other people had left clues, like success leaves clues, like go learn from them, see how they're doing it. You'll find your people. And the thing is, guys, if you think about it, it doesn't take that many people to be successful in this business. Not that you're not successful if you don't hit Success Club, but what I'm saying is, like, you only need 3 people to hit Success Club. And that's really not that many people. So just sit down, be on those action hours if you need it. The Business Builders thread, if you're not plugged into that, is fire. It is an incredible, I get on the call every day, guys, with 15-star diamonds. The other day, I got on the call with a 15-star diamond that had a little like we were just kind of talking and catching up and masterminding. And every single person I talk to is blown away with the community that we have. They literally are like, how do I get that? I want that. And I'm like, I don't even know what to tell you. This has been my focus from the beginning. So it's hard when you've done it one way and you have to go backwards and do it. And I'm so thankful that our community looks like this. Like, it's so cool and so special. I don't think that most people realize how incredible our community is. I literally had 2 calls with top coaches last week, and both of them are like, 15-star diamonds, and they're asking me how I created this community. I'm like, I didn't create it. Like, I definitely did not create it. This is literally all God. But you know, it just shows like how amazing this community is. So lean into the community, because we're all here for each other, like here to cheer each other on, here to answer questions. There's no secrets. Like, we're all an open book. Like, I'll tell you everything I do all day, every day, how I've worked this business. And we all have different approaches. So it's just powerful. Even if you're upline, like, I promise we're going to get in the meat of the call, but even if you're upline, like you see how they do the business and you're just like, I think that's awesome, but like, it just isn't working for me. You like, even though you connected with them and you love them and you look up to them and you want them to mentor you, like someone else on this team may have a purchase a little bit better fit for you and your niche and where you are in your season of life. Like, I've got girls on my team who are in college, and I know they can't relate with how I work my business, but there's other girls on this team that might be in college, or maybe they are single, so they don't have to work this around their kids or whatever. So there's all these different people on our team, and you might be able to relate to them and how they work this business. So action hours are so good. Hop on them. There's also action hours, especially for new coaches. I just want to make sure you guys know this. In the Beachbody Champions page, if you go to Facebook, type in Beachbody Champions and request to join, it'll ask you for your coach ID. That group is so good. They have action hours in there every single day. So if you can't hop on one of our action hours, you can literally even go to that Facebook page, go to recorded ones, like they're under the videos, and all the old action hours are on there that have ever happened. I did one on there. If you want to search my name, it was like 2 years ago. But if you just need something to go follow because you're a person that needs a little bit of direction, go follow that. 2 seconds. Sorry, I forgot to put something in the oven. I didn't want it to burn up my house. Anyways, so jump on those. Those are really powerful, really, really good. And again, success leaves clues. You're going to learn things. Our team has certain ways of doing things, but you might learn something from another coach and you're like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. And you could bring it back to our team and show us how they did it too, which is just, again, just sharing the knowledge. So anyway, speaking of sharing the knowledge, I am so excited about tonight's call because we are going to be talking about all things Fire and Flow. I know there are so many questions around Fire and Flow, what's happening, when it's releasing, what's going on, when our group's starting. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to kind of dive into Fire and Flow. I'm going to walk through some of the things that you guys need to know about Fire and Flow. I'm also going to talk a little bit about how we as a team are rallying around this program, that the resources and the assets that are available to you to help you make the most of this launch. I'll be totally transparent with you guys. Like, we have not been as on top of this launch probably as most launches, probably because like 75% of our diamond coaches have had a baby in the past like 4 months. So it's like just kind of been craziness, and I will be totally transparent in that. But we really, we would just want to make sure you guys have all the tools that you need. One thing just to kind of let you guys in on is in the past, we have purchased mompreneur launches, like launch bundles, and they are super good and super helpful. But a couple of things about them is that they're really expensive. They're a great starting point, but we end up spending so much time editing them because they really just don't completely fit our team. And really, like, most of the time, we're not using 80% of the assets that they give us because they're things that are like just almost a little too generic and not niche enough to our team. Because truly, our team, even in and of itself, is very niche compared to the greater Beachbody network. And so what we decided to do this time was put all the content together ourselves. So I basically just posted in the business builder, said who wants to be a part of this, and whoever wanted to jumped on board. And again, I haven't been as on top of it as I usually would be just with having a newborn. But that's kind of what we're going to try to start leaning towards going forward, is putting together all our own stuff. Just because it makes it very specific to our team. And I think it's just a little bit better fit. Instead of just plugging and playing things from mompreneur, where it can just be a little too generic, and sometimes a little too kind of just not really with our niche, if that makes sense. So that's kind of just a little update on that. But we have a folder. I already put the folder together. We're just basically, I was waiting on a few things from Courtney, that she was putting together graphics and stuff like that I can pop in there for you guys. So that all of that will be in there on the Google Drive, and I will post that in the team page tomorrow. But let's go ahead and kind of dive into Fire and Flow, and then I'm going to invite Sam on here in just a second. I'm just going to talk real quick about some bullet points around Fire and Flow, just to make sure everyone's aware of kind of what the program is. So, and then we're going to dive into just a little basically interview style, like Q&A with Sam on the program. Sam was a part of the test group for this program, which is an incredible opportunity. Ashton and it was someone else, we're just talking about it earlier, being in the test group for Lift More. So it's just incredible to see it. So neat. I'm like, if every time we have a program come out, we have multiple people in the test group, like I just think that's so cool. So we're going to kind of dive into Fire and Flow tonight and interview her. You guys can ask her questions, because obviously, like, she's been doing this program, she knows this program, and so I'm super pumped. Okay, so first things first, Fire and Flow, as most of you hopefully already know, was created by Jericho McMatthews and Elise Joanne. I think it's how you say it, Joanne. But little tidbit about Jericho. So I actually knew of Jericho back when I did Les Mills Body Pump. Like, I was obsessed with Les Mills Body Pump and Les Mills Body Attack. That's kind of my background before I started Beachbody stuff. And Jericho is actually a master trainer for Les Mills. So she would travel around the world and basically teach people, like trainers. She would teach the big trainer licensing classes. And then she was also one of the people that was in the Les Mills Body Pump program that Beachbody sold when I started as a coach. So Beachbody used to sell Les Mills Body Pump for at home when I started as a coach. And that's honestly why, kind of one of the reasons I started doing Beachbody, is because I knew I could do body pump at home, and I was like super stoked on that. So her and Joel both came from Les Mills, and Beachbody kind of hired them away from Les Mills, but they know so much. Like they would travel all around and just teach people how to do Les Mills and be instructors. So that's just a little background on Jericho. She's actually from Nashville. She was born and raised in Nashville, which is kind of funny. And then Elise, most of you guys know her from Bar Blend. And she is so motivating, so positive, so sweet. And so I think it's a cool combination, because Jericho, even being around her at some of the leadership events, she is much more, I mean, you guys see it in her workouts. She's like, let's get it, let's go, boom. She loves dance, she loves MMA. And then Elise is kind of this flower who's super positive and super inspiring and sweet. And I mean, I do her postnatal workouts, and I'm like, I'm a supermodel. That's how she makes you feel. She's just you are beautiful and you did this, and I don't know, her voice is so sweet. But it's such a cool program that they've come together to literally kind of bring their strengths and put this program together. Because I mean, most of us are seeing, and if you're in your 30s and almost approaching your mid 30s, like me, then you're seeing this. But intense workouts are amazing, but our bodies really do need days of stretching and resting and flow, which essentially is what Fire and Flow is. So, which is really cool. I know Brian he does a bunch of workouts and stuff like that with this guy. It's called Knees Over Toes. It's this whole program about strengthening your knees and all this stretching and all this stuff. But it is things that, especially people who are starting to get into their mid 30s or into their 40s, we need these kind of programs, because yes, it's challenging their cardio, but we also need to make sure we're taking care of our body by stretching and I mean, even with going to PT, just learning all the things that I didn't know just to be taking care of your body is really, really helpful. And like I said, Elise is so knowledgeable in all of this. And during the workouts, I'm sure that Sam will be able to talk about, I'm sure she's coaching you all through it. So, what makes Fire and Flow really unique is that the workouts are 25 to 30 minutes. They're 6 days a week, and you have one rest day. So, the schedule is super unique in that it's like high intensity fire days with low impact flow days. So, you can go hard, but then you can make sure that you're really recovering and rejuvenating and giving your body the rest that it needs. There is a 4-week journal that will come along with Fire and Flow, and it's really self-care heavy. I'll let Sam kind of talk to it in just a little bit, but the program basically includes all of that, and then there also are 4 fire workouts and 4 flow workouts that are kind of bonus workouts that are focused on abs and glutes and arms and flexibility. So that's kind of the breakdown of the program. All right, so let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and bring Sam on. She's on here, but go ahead and mute her. And we're just going to kind of talk through some questions. Sam and I came up with a little list of questions, but for you guys who don't know Samantha, so she is a coach on Kirby's team, part of Fit for His Glorious Sisters. She is been married for 10 years, which is amazing. I'm sure you're like, where did that go?
Yeah.
And she has a 2-year-old little girl and a 4-year-old little girl, and they live up in Wisconsin. And she is an Emerald coach, and she is almost Diamond. Like, she is so close. She's going to be there before Summit. I'm calling it. But Sam got to be a part of the test group, and I'm going to have her talk a little bit just about her experience. So Sam, let's just go ahead and kind of start off with like, kind of how did you like the program? Like, what were your pros and cons? Like, what was your overall feeling just about Fire and Flow?
Yeah. So this was actually my first program with Elise or Jericho. I've done like bits of programs with them, whether it be on body or something like that, but I'd never done a program start to finish with them. I think Jericho honestly was always intimidating to me, especially in her morning meltdown workouts. I'm like, that's not me. I
Yep.
don't need that. Like, yeah. So I kind of always shied away from her. So going into a program that I knew, like generally their styles and they're so opposite, I didn't know what I would feel, but I still went into it with a super open mind, a lot of excitement just to be in a test group. And I walked away feeling like I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I'll share this later on too, but physically I enjoyed it, but also just mentally, I feel like the slowing down with Elise, like what you were talking about, was just so beneficial to me in it. So, um, yeah, I think like moving into some pros and cons. Pros, if you are looking to like lean out, tone up, lose some weight, like Jericho will definitely help with that. I mean, she gets you going on those fire days for sure. And then with Elise though, like if you're looking to build flexibility, just more mobility in your joints, like I couldn't believe how helpful she was with that. So like physically there, that's a huge pro. But even more than that, like this, I feel like both their goal in this program wasn't just to get you somewhere physically, but make sure you're taking mindful steps to transform your thoughts and your habits and your routine in your day. So, having that journal prompt each day and just hearing because each day that you worked out with them, it lined like their theme for what they were talking about lined up with the journal prompt. So if you took just the couple minutes before your workout to do this journal prompt, Jericho's talking about it all day, or in the 30-minute workout. So you really are working on your mindset a lot during this program, which then feeds into your body physically. So I just really love seeing them mesh that together. And then yeah, and just I know I mentioned it a little bit, but a huge pro for me with this program was going from like high intensity workouts to slow pace mobility restorative workouts. I had never done that before in my like workout routines, so for me it was new. and different. And honestly, I'm that girl that will skip the yoga day. I just would skip mobility day in 6:45. Like, oh, I don't need that. I'll just take a rest day. But being in the test group, I wanted to be like 100% on it. And I couldn't believe like how helpful that was. So that was a big pro. Cons, I wanted to address this because I don't know if you're feeling this way or maybe some girls that you're talking to are feeling this way. The 6 days a week. I feel like that can be on paper scary for people. So when they're looking for programs, I think we get a lot, like people are like, oh, ideally I want like a 20-minute workout 4 days a week, right? Like if it's anything more than that, it just feels like a really big commitment to some people, especially if they're beginners, especially if they don't feel like they're in any kind of routine for themselves right now. But I want you to be encouraged that even though this is a 6-day-a-week program, it doesn't feel like you're working out 6 days a week. It took me years to get to that point of consistency in my own health journey. So like when I'm talking to my new girls and I'm helping them create new routines for themselves, I'm talking about creating like realistic goals, like maybe 3 or 4 workouts a week, right? That's kind of what this feels like, what Fire and Flow feels like. You're having like 3 fire days that are high intensity. And then there's one functional day with Elise that she gets you sweating, like even though it's no impact, she gets you with some weights and she brings on the sweat. So you have like 3 or 4 days a week where you're like feeling it, right? But those other days, they really do feel so restorative that it was almost better than taking a rest day. So I think a con to the program can feel overbearing that it's 6 days a week, but I want it to be reassuring that like it's not going to be a 6 days a week that burns you out, but rather like it helps you build consistency in that. So
I love that. I think that's so true. And I think all of us are guilty. We're all like, yes, yes. All of us are guilty of wanting to skip those mobility days. But like you said, like I've learned a lot from Amwala in 645. Just like he's so like knowledgeable. But I feel like when he talks about like the importance of mobility in order to then build strength, like there are certain things that like you can't build your muscles without the mobility. And even things like, you know, like when you're stretching like that or you're getting those mobility moves down, like today I was doing the one where you like have it over your head and you have to like watch your weight and go down. You guys know what I'm talking about from 645. But it's just crazy how much stronger you get from working on those mobility moves, even if you're not using a ton of weight. So that's really, really helpful. Someone said, oh yeah, I love 645 for that reason. Same. Okay, so quick question just about in terms of the flow. I'm kind of jumping down the list a little bit here, but let's address, because I'm sure a lot of us are thinking, okay, like what kind of flow is this? Is this like a spiritual talk? Is it, how do we as Christians, as believers kind of approach it? Just because obviously we all know, if you haven't ever gotten a message about yoga or anything like that, then from somebody asking about it, then like you know, I don't know how is what I'm trying to say. So let's kind of talk about that, because you know, that was a thing in Bar Blend, right? Like the daily affirmations and just being super affirmation heavy. And obviously we all know that Beachbody is not a Christian company, so we don't expect them to act like Christians when they might not know Jesus. Can't expect a non-believer to act like a believer, but how are we going to approach it as believers and coach people in that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually wrote that as one of my cons too. Like, okay, Elise is Elise, right? She's all about positivity and good vibes and yeah, affirmations and loving yourself. And there is a lot of that on the flow days. I have been very forward with that with people on our team, just let them know, like, expect it. You will experience it in our journal prompts too. Nothing in your face that feels like, really uncomfortable, but more so, it took just this extra effort for me to say, okay, what she is saying is really great. How can I bring that back to God? Like, what Bible verse does that make me think of? And a lot of times I just took like another minute or two in my journal prompt to tie in that theme to the Lord so that during my workout, like I could be dwelling on that. And then there were days where Elise is just, spitting out her encouragement and positivity, but I swear I heard the Lord speaking through her to me, just encouraging me. So we know this, like the Lord will use, worldly things to speak to us and work through other people, spiritually. So I had full confidence in that. But I think even if I think it's important to guard our hearts and our minds, like going into something like this, but it's also a really great opportunity for us to lead our clients and our friends in like their mindset physically and turning it over to the Lord. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think I love everything you said. And maybe just too encouraging like our clients, like maybe giving them some prayers to pray before their workout, like, hey, like just before they even press play, which I think we should all do anyway. But just Lord, like help me to guard my heart in this, like just like, or if that's something that someone struggles with, just putting on mute and putting on some Christian worship music and doing the workout. You know what I mean? You don't have to hear everything that she says. But I will say, if anybody was on the call that we did with Elise a while back, was anybody on that call when we interviewed her about the postnatal stuff? Was anybody there? I don't think so. Okay. So at the end of it, I asked to pray over her. Complete and total tears, like just pouring. And she was like, you have no idea how much that means to me. Like, I actually love Jesus and I do this, like, and I don't know where her walk is, but like, she was like, I can't openly talk about God on my workouts, but like she was just like went into this whole thing. And that really made me look differently at her. And you can actually go back if you want to hear it. Go back to our team call, and it's all on the Fit for His Glory Sisters YouTube or Fit for His Glory YouTube. But it was a team call, and we were interviewing Elise, so I'm sure you can like find it in there. But it was at the very end we prayed over. So I think just obviously keeping that in mind. Like again, I don't know everyone's everything looks different for everybody. I don't know her well enough to know 100%, but that's what she said. And so I just think that's cool to kind of keep in mind too. Let's see. Ashton said in Punta Cana, she said this same thing. She said, I talk about mindset and self-positivity, but she said, if you're on a spiritual journey, you can make this your own. Yeah. So I love that. And I think, maybe we can come up with something, and Sam, we can talk about this offline too, but just like go ahead and put some prayers together that we can provide to our clients. Cause sometimes people don't know what to say. But if we can be an encouragement to them to like, hey, here's something super simple, a prayer, make some cool little prayer cards or something that they can print off, to kind of go along with the prompts or whatever. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I've been really trying to think on that too, because I think it would be so beneficial specifically for the girls on our team that like want to shy away from that. Because I think we can err on the side of like, oh, I'm unsure, so I'm just going to avoid it altogether. But really, like those flow days allowed me opportunity to pray during my workout, to dwell on a Bible verse. Like I felt so connected with the Lord after those flow days than I would in any other workout. So don't let that be the only thing that deters you. And for your, clients that are interested, like encourage them in that way too. And hold each other accountable. Like, hey, let's talk about what the Lord's teaching us in this day, or like what stood out to you, or it just leads to a lot of cool opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And too, like I will say this just real quick. In the Boss Babes Facebook page, like I posted those Bible verses that went with the affirmations from Barbland. And it was just like we had just put it on a graphic and made it pretty. But if you go to it, there's like each affirmation had a Bible verse. And that was just like team, we all did it. It took us no time. But that is another way to then like be reaching the greater Beachbody network. You know what I mean? Of like, hey, like then hopefully they use it and hopefully they share it with someone, and you never know how God might use that in someone else's life. So um,
Oh,
I think
yes.
that's really cool. And so that could be something, we can share with other coaches and be like, hey, we put this together, and they can use it for their teams too, which is really cool. Okay, so if there's any questions about any of this stuff as we're going to, guys, just drop it in the chat box, and that way we can, you know, dive into that question that you might have. Okay, so Sam, in regards to the program, so who would you say that this program is for? Because obviously the cardio days are pretty hard. I mean, I posted in the business builders, if you guys aren't in there, the other day, and was like, I don't know if I should do this program. Like I was doing it, I felt like my pelvic floor is about to fall out of me. Like I was like, I might be pushing myself a little too hard. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna start following the modifier. But like, I mean, it's a tough program.
It is going to be a challenging program. So, like those fire days, I haven't jumped around like that probably since like MBF, honestly. Like, I just don't do a lot of HIIT workouts anymore, especially since getting my bike. I learned, especially with 4 weeks for everybody, like my body loves no impact. And I'm 30, so it's probably for the better.
Yeah.
But like there's also so much good that comes from these really challenging high intensity workouts, and I did enjoy the challenge. Is it for a fresh postpartum mama? Probably not. Is like if you're in a place even as a beginner in your journey, like I don't I am speaking to my people this way. I don't want you to push yourself, but I want you to know too that there's my I don't that sounds bad. I do want you to push yourself. I don't want you to push yourself past like what is safe and
Mhm.
good for your body. Like we each have those physical limits. But that's what I love too about this program is there's so many ways to modify. I'll talk about this with the sample workout, but I don't feel like you got a really good taste of that in the sample workout. Like in the actual program, they break it down in a lot of variations. So there are going to be ways that you can even modify the modifier. So if you're easing back in from, postpartum recovery, if you just haven't done impact workouts in a long time, like you can ease it in. But I think when I think of who this program is for, particularly, I think of a girl who feels stuck. Like that's what this program's for. This because they might think they feel stuck physically. Like if think about if you're either saying this to yourself or you're having this conversation with someone, like I just don't see change happening. The scale's not moving. I can't seem to go to bed early or wake up early or give up this bad habit or whatever. Like you have these conversations, right? That just feel like they're stuck. They don't know what to do to change up their habits. This program will help them do that. And it's not because they're pushing them physically, but it's because they're adding in that mental and spiritual component. And I think like a lot of times we might feel stuck physically, but really we're stuck mentally. We're stuck spiritually. We're just dry. And we need to take some time to slow it down and look at our health and our spirit as a whole, and think about like what in my day, what in my routine is serving me and what is actually like hindering me and what do I need to get rid of and replace. And this program, because of the way Elise and Jericho designed it to get you thinking about those things, you're probably going to feel a mindset shift and like a habit shift before you feel a physical shift. Like it all works together. So at the end of the 4 weeks, you're going to feel great physically, but I think it's going to be starting in those habits and mindset shifts.
I love that. I'm writing that down. You'll probably feel a habit shift before you feel a physical shift. That's really cool. So, in regards to, you said something, and I had a great question. But you said you kind of touched on the sample workout and how it compares to the actual workout. So you would say that, like, it was like the program wasn't. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when the sample workout came out, I was sick. So I couldn't physically do it, which I was super bummed about. I watched it and I was excited about it. I was like, oh, they did a great job. They added everything in there. This is going to be great. Like, people are going to love the sample workout. And then I finally did the sample workout myself on Saturday with the girls. And I will tell you, that was challenging. It was tough. I feel like they crammed a lot in. Like, it's like they wanted to give you the taste of the whole program in these quick 30 minutes. And it was really difficult for me to go from like Jericho's high intensity 15-minute portion into the flow workout. Like, it just felt very disjointed, and it kind of took away even from the flow. So in that sense, it didn't feel like it meshed very well to me, and I'm assuming others felt that as well. And then also, like, the fire portion with Jericho, I was like, okay, this girl, she wanted to give us a taste of upper body, lower body, and cardio day, right? So that's kind of, I don't know if you realize that, but so the 15 minutes, she gave you a portion of like what each day is going to look like with her. But man, it just felt like rapid fire. It felt a little too crammed for me. And it's not like that in the program. So
Erica's workouts in the program, someone asked this, but are they circuits or like doing 3 rounds of each for a minute?
no, it's like sets. So there's 3 sets. And it's like 2 workouts and then a fire minute, and then 2 workouts and a fire minute kind of thing. It honestly reminded me of like a MBF. You remember how an MBF you would,
Wraps.
yeah. And then like even on her circuit days, you had your functional movements, and then she had you do like the ropes for a minute. It felt very similar to MBF for me. So each day, each fire day, you are doing some jumping and you are doing a cardio component. She calls them fire minutes. But you'll do like an upper body focus and then a lower body focus and then a cardio day. So, yeah, I mean, her goal each day is to get you breathless. So you're going to feel it on fire days. But
good for our heart health.
Yeah, it really, and your lungs,
it
really
like
it's a good feeling.
We haven't had we really haven't had a program that has hard cardio in it in a while too. Like, yeah. I mean, a lot of our programs, 645, a lot of them, their cardio hasn't been super tough.
No, I agree. I honestly don't think I've been challenged in my cardio as much with Fire and Flow challenged me the same way MBF did. I haven't really felt that with a lot of other programs, but I think the flow days also got really gypped in the sample workout. So they truly are restorative, and it's fun going from like your really hard day with Jericho, and then the next day it's a completely different vibe. Like, you wake up for me, I did them early in the morning to start my day, and it was a wonderful way to start my day. So yeah, I think the flow day is more enjoyable than you got a taste of.
Okay, so we only got about 15 minutes left. So I'm gonna kind of call out a few of these questions kind of together. But as far as like nutrition and supplements that you used, what did you use for the program?
So Gut Protocol launched like the same week that I started my test group, and I I know technically it's with gut protocol. If you want 100% out of gut protocol, you need to take out impact and limit stress on your body. So I knew obviously Fire and Flow is high intense, but I still chose to pair gut protocol with it, and I really enjoyed it. My body did well with it. Um, like I said, I think my body enjoys no impact more. But I got really great results doing gut protocol with Fire and Flow. And it wasn't too limiting or restrictive or anything like that. So that's what I did. That's what I'm going to plan on doing in June with everybody, is just kind of sticking in maintenance mode with gut protocol. And then supplement wise, I kept it super simple because I was doing gut protocol. So I did the probiotics and digestive enzymes, and then Shakeology and Energize. I would highly recommend adding Recover to your routine, for at least for the fire days for sure. I didn't even have any Recover on hand, but because I was doing gut protocol, I didn't add in Recover. But it would be super beneficial after those fire days for sure.
Awesome. That's perfect. And I saw there is a challenge pack that comes with gut protocol and Fire and Flow, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so last but not least, well, actually, I'll have one more question after this, but we're getting towards the end. So, how was your test group experience? Like, I'm sure there's lots of girls listening, and they're like, oh, one of my goals is to try to hit, if you haven't seen guys, there's new ways to hit. There's new ways to get into a test group is what I'm trying to say. So if you haven't seen that, go take a look. It's all posted in the FAQ, and I posted the link to it in the team page a couple weeks ago. But Sam, tell us about the test group experience.
Yeah, I think actually at the end of my right now, I'm feeling like, okay, I want to do a test group again because I feel like I could do it better. Like
Yeah.
it was almost like a trial run of like I could have optimized my time in my test group a little bit better. Which actually reminds me, Ashton and Jennifer, I should tell you guys what I was thinking, since you're in a test group right now. But I loved being in a test group. I think there is just something so fun and exciting knowing that you are like the first to be able to go through this program start to finish. It's such a privilege. And it's a tangible goal that you can work towards. So when I became a coach, that was what I was focused on, was success starters. I hit success starters, and then I got into this nutrition test group actually with Ashley and Caroline actually, and I just was bummed. I wanted a fitness one so bad. And thankfully they opened it up to like they let us join the Fire and Flow. So I was like double pumped because I did not enjoy my nutrition test group. So definitely make it a goal to get into a test group, whether you're like a new coach trying to become a success starter, or if you miss that success starter window, like it's not the end. It doesn't mean you can't be in there. Make it a goal. It is super fun.
Yeah. And I just posted the link to the FAQ, but it breaks it down. Basically, you can either be a success starter, which is qualifying for Success Club 4 months of your first 6 months in the business. So it's a little different than it used to be. Or like a new diamond. So if you're qualified for Success Club in the diamond qualification month plus 2 following months, then you can get into to the test group. And then there's also like 2-star and 5-star. So it's really cool because like potentially if you came in hot into the business, like you could almost be in like multiple test groups. And test groups can be an incredible way to grow your business. Which kind of leads us to the last question. Sam, how are you going to use this program launch to grow your business?
Yeah, I think for all of us, any program launch is a really cool opportunity for us to grow our business. That's how I became a coach. You guys were launching 30-day breakaway. Kirby was like, hey, you want to run a 5K with me and do it as a coach? And I was like, sure. So I think it's just a fun way and an easy way to say, hey, I'm doing something new. Come and do this new thing with me. We'll figure it out together. And do you have a friend that would want to do this too? Because you can like it's always more fun with accountability, right? So that in itself is a cool way and an opportunity for you to grow. And I would challenge you, like as you're talking to people, I'm getting in this habit myself. Like when they say, yeah, I think I really want to do this. Awesome. Do you have a friend or two friends that want to do it with you? And if they say yes, I immediately move the conversation to, okay, they could sign up with me, or you could become a coach and make some income too. Like, and it just opens the door to conversation. So I think it's a really easy way to kind of get that conversation going. Um, but the other reason, like, I want to encourage you that if you're not feeling fire and flow, if you are like, I don't know if this program is going to be for me, I don't really love this. I keep going back to I felt that way about Let's Get Up. I hate dance. I am not a dancer, never done a dance workout before. When that program came out, before it even launched, I checked it out. I was like, I'm not doing that launch. No way. And Patrice Buller got on here and she said, listen, you are a coach. Your job is to try out new workout programs, or at the very least, to inform yourself of what these programs are, who they are meant to serve, how they can benefit that person, where they're at in their journey. And then you get to like invite people to do it, whether you're doing it yourself or not. So even if it's, and guess what? Like I did Let's Get Up, start to finish. I did that whole program and it felt really weird. I felt super awkward. I haven't done it since. But I had like 3 or 4 people that had told me no multiple times. They said yes to Let's Get Up because they're like, dance workout. Yeah, I can do that. I would enjoy that. That's not me, but they enjoyed it. It served them. So even if you're not feeling fire and flow, or it's not something that you can currently do in this season, there are women who are following you, that are looking to you, that are feeling like, yeah, I need this encouragement, not even physically, but I need that mental drive. I need that like change of mindset. I need that change of routine and habits. Like there's so much more in this program that you can speak to than just those fire hard workout days. So I would encourage you that if you're like on the fence or discouraged because you're not really jiving with this workout program, talk about it. There is somebody watching you right now that would feel so like connected to this program. Like, yes, this is what I need. So
I love that. And you know, MM100 was literally to this date my best launch I've ever done. I got like Success Club 67 or something that month.
my gosh,
yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane.
But it was literally all because I just took the program and talked about, like I called it the Own Your Morning Boot Camp. That was the first Own Your Morning Boot Camp I ever did. But I just took it and made it like work with my niche and talked about the pain points and talked about how most people want to try to wake up earlier, you know? And so even being able to talk about like building muscle and flexibility and the importance of flexibility in order to build muscle. And, you know, we're all getting older and not getting younger and taking care of our bodies and not just like putting them through these like really hard workouts all the time. No, go on up with Daddy and I'll meet you up there. Okay. Thank you. I need this real quick. Okay. Sorry guys. You know, just being able to take it and like work it into our pain points or whatever it is. And I love what you said too, Sam, is like, Let's Get Up was such a great example. Like that program maybe wasn't what you needed, but think about the person that like really needed that. They needed something fun that would get them excited about fitness again. Like maybe there's someone out there that's like, you know, yeah, 6 days a week, but like 3 days you're going a little bit harder and 3 days you're, you know, stretching. And so that feels like almost like a rest day for them, you know, or whatever. There's so many people, I think we get so in our bubble sometimes and we think like everybody works out. Everyone takes care of themselves. I mean, y'all just go walk around like church or the grocery store or anywhere and just kind of look around, do some people watching. There is a lot of people who need to steward their bodies better, and who need guidance in that because they don't know where to start. And a lot of times we attract what we are. And so maybe a lot of our friends don't, but there are so many people out there that need this. And so just, get out of your bubble, get out of your head. And there's a lot of people that would love to just do a workout in their living room where nobody's watching them. And so I think this is going to be an incredible program for people. And like we said, like I literally, after I did that workout, I was like, I don't know if I should do this program. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for it. And I told Brian and he was like, Caroline, like you don't have to go intense, just share your story, be real. And then I also shared it with y'all and Ashton said the same thing. But just, share your story, be real with where you're at, share like I'm at, ground zero too, just like everybody else. And so being able to share through the struggle, because there's somebody who can relate to that is listening and watching. And so anyways, we just all put on our tighter sports bras and get ready to do some X jumps.
Strap them down. Good to go.
That's literally the worst part is when you don't have on tight enough sports bra and you're like holding your boobs. Can't put that one on Instagram stories.
Okay. The other thing I want to say is so for me, I was in the test group. I think what made this enjoyable for me, and I'm very conscious of this now in my workouts, because as a coach, right, we want to share the movements that we're doing. Well, in the test group, I couldn't just record myself and share all my moves. Wow, that was freeing. So all of you coaches that are listening, put the phone away, like record a couple moves that you want to share for that day, and then turn the phone off and be you. Like move your body, challenge yourself. So if you're like feeling super awkward and things are moving all about and you're like, I feel really weird doing this move, just have your video off and it just be you. Because I got to push myself in a totally different way because I couldn't share my videos. So just like a little tidbit about that as you're going through like your own changes, like share what you want and then save some stuff just for you, like video off, be present in that moment.
I so agree, because you can get caught up in just thinking about what you're recording instead of actually like paying attention to the workout and going all in. One thing I was going to say too is like you can also just at the end of your workout record like a few of the moves, and then by that point too you like already kind of know what you're doing instead of looking awkward because you're trying to figure it out.
Totally.
So I never recorded doing my fight club for that reason. Yes, exactly. All right. Anything else? 9:00. Well, thank you guys for being on. I did a little poll on the team page just to kind of see what everybody wanted to do for team calls this summer. And it sounds like everyone wants to stick to Monday nights. So we're going to stick to Monday nights. I do already have someone lined up to speak on our June call. And we're probably just going to stick to the 2 calls a month, especially for the summer. So the June calendar will be up later this week, and I'm excited about this launch tomorrow. Set your clocks for tomorrow. We'll have a post go up in the team page for Ring the Bell. I'm going to do a fun little giveaway. I actually saw Ashton post about it and I kind of stole her idea. But the cup. So I'm going to give away one to someone on our team. So I'll draw from all the Ring the Bell people. So anyways, all right, friends, let me pray for y'all, and I hope y'all have an amazing week. Heavenly Father, God, thank you so much, Lord, for this night. Thank you for Sam, who brought the fire tonight, no pun intended. But God, I just thank you so much for her and just her willingness to share with us and pour into our team. God, I just pray for these women. I pray that whatever they needed to hear tonight, they heard, that you would just divide it 17 different ways, Lord, and just touch whoever needed it tonight, God. I pray for the women who couldn't be here, who are catching and recording, Lord, that you would just continue to use them and bless them, Lord, whatever they're walking through. Lord, I I just thank you so much for this incredible community. Use this launch to help us reach new people, God, and ultimately point them to you, because that's really what it's all about. Thank you, Lord. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for being on.
Bye, guys.
Bye.